I decided to see if I could beat Pokemon Legends Arceus using only shiny Pokemon. Will I succeed, or will my patience give out first? Let's find out. We kick our runoff and are immediately greeted by some kind of disembodied Pokemon deity. After telling it all of our personal information and describing in excruciating detail exactly how we look IRL, it teleports us back in time and we end up washing up on some ancient beach where we meet this dweeb. After a quick, pretty weird conversation with him, we almost instantly find a smartphone on the ground. Why a smartphone? I don't know, man. But as we open it, there's a strange message from Arceus of all people. It says, subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to see more content like this. Wow, that's a really great idea. Thanks, Arceus. From here, a few things happen. We head to town, join Team Galaxy, meet some key characters, including, but not limited to, our one true love, Potato Mochi Guy. We choose our starter, the best owl boy, Rowlet. Starters are shiny locked in this game, sorry. Then we go out in the field and complete our very first mission. Turns out that the very same night after we completed our first task, the noble Pokemon Kleavor was struck by lightning, and let me tell you, it did not like that very much. And since we're the main character of this game, we of course are tasked with finding a way to calm its frenzy. At this point, you may be wondering to yourself, but Quinn, we don't have a shiny Pokemon yet. How can we stop Kleavor without a shiny? Oh, well, my sweet, sweet viewer. This is where we begin our first hunt. Before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit about how shinies work in Legends Arceus. In this game, there are a few things you can do to increase your odds of finding a shiny. The first and main tactic that we'll be using in this video is having a complete Pokédex entry. And in this game, completing the Pokédex isn't as simple as catching one of a Pokemon. To finish off a Pokédex entry, you'll often have to battle multiple, catch multiple, and also do some very specific tasks related to the Pokemon. But it's worth doing because this increases your odds of finding a shiny about 4 times. So we set out and start working to complete the Pokédex for a couple Pokemon. The 2 Pokemon we're specifically targeting here are Drifloon and Geodude. So we start battling, catching, and evolving every one of these that we could get our hands on to complete our Pokédex entries. After the Dex entries are complete, we start to actively seek out our shiny. After taking what must have been hundreds of laps around the map, this happened. Oh. Yo. Whew, man. That about time, I would say. About time. There it is. There it is. Dinger, come on, get in the first ball. Get in the first ball. Oh! Let's go. Look at it. Truly glorious in all of its yellow splendor. After spending some time with this spooky balloon, we decided to nickname it Dirty Barry because, let me tell you, he is a dirty boy. And with Dirty Barry on the team, we can finally head over to calm Kleavor. But first, here's a clip of DB fighting a Wurmple. Cool. Anyway, after a big brainstorming session with the professor and our other homie, we figure out Kleavor has just been really hungry this whole time. So we need to feed it, but it's too mad for us to get close. So we need to throw food at it from a distance until it's full. Yes, that is actually how you fight all the major bosses of this game. Here's a quick excerpt from our tussle with the big rock bug thing. Eat this. Ah! After raising Kleavor's blood sugar, it calms down. From here, we head back to Jubilife just in time to get word that yet another noble Pokemon is in a frenzy. So we start making our way to the Crimson Mirelands to check out the situation. On our way out of town, we do have a quick battle with Ray where we smack his Mime Jr. with Dirty Barry, only to get destroyed by his Pikachu shortly after. Anyway, we beat him, then head to the Mirelands to progress the story a little bit. After suffering that embarrassing blow from Ray, we vow to never let that happen again and level up Dirty Barry enough for it to evolve into a Drifblim. I'm really not sure if I prefer the shiny of this Pokemon, but it's a welcome change of pace and does look pretty dang cool. From here, we meet up with some kind of half plant, half old lady creature, then duke it out with some bandits who stole a piece of our wall or something. With our newly buffed up hot air balloon, we're easily able to dispatch the bandits Toxicroak with a single 4x effect of confusion. We beat them so bad that we don't even have to ask, they just end up handing over the wall fragment. And after returning it to the plant queen, she invites us to meet her big bear friend Ursaluna. Turns out it wants a scrap, so we send in our dear boy Barry. After beating the crap out of this bear, it ends up respecting us enough to let us ride it around the world. This is super helpful because not only can we ride Ursaluna, but it's also able to dig up hidden items, a few of which we'll need to evolve some Pokemon going forward. Hint, hint. With our new bear friend, we double back to the Obsidian Fieldlands and begin our hunt for our next Pokemon. The target this time? Kleavor. Unfortunately, Kleavor doesn't spawn in the wild in this game, so we start hunting its pre-evolution, Scyther. At this point, we had already completed the bulk of its Pokédex entry before starting this hunt, but there were still a few things left on the list, so we completed those, then started making our rounds. Luckily, Scyther is pretty common around where you fight Kleavor, but in the end, this is still a shiny hunt, and it did take forever, but eventually, this happened. Yo, we're good. We gotta fight it. Oh, baby. Just get in the ball. Just be a good boy and get in the ball. Yes. Let's go. Oh, let's go. Oh, man. In the time that it took us to find this shiny Scyther, we were able to dig up a bunch of black augurite, a piece of which we used to evolve Scyther into a Kleavor, and while Scyther's shiny might not be the most impressive thing ever, I'm a huge fan of Kleavor's shiny, especially its black axe hands and helmet, so cool. We sized this boy up and ultimately decided that the name Clumpus seemed like a good fit. With the second shiny on the team, we headed back to the Mirelands to help out with the frenzied noble Lilligant. Ooh, don't do it to him, Lilligant. Oh God, don't do it to me, Lilligant. Turns out this thing's blood sugar was also low, just like Kleavor, but after feeding it a Snickers, it turned back into itself. With that resolved, we reported back to town, then, you guessed it, got word of another frenzied noble Pokemon. Starting to see a pattern here. This time, we headed out to the Cobalt Coastlands, where we heard about some trouble around a volcano on an island or something. As we arrive, we're challenged to a battle by the leader of the Pearl Clan, which is a perfect opportunity for us to show off Kleavor in action. Her Glaceon is really no match for our signature move Stone Axe, and we take it out in one hit, then clean up her EV with more of the same on the next turn. After the battle, we talk to this lady and her dogs, and she says that the only way to get to the island we need to go to is with the help of a big fish. And there's only one person who's friends with the fish, so we have to go talk to him, and he lives all the way over there. Too far. Let's look for another shiny. This time, we had our sights set on a coveted prize. We were going to go for the mother of all regional variants, Hisuian Growlithe. As it turns out, this is a relatively rare spawn that only exists in a few spots up on this cliff over here. So after what felt like forever spent completing the dex entry for this dog, we started making laps from camp to the cliffs to search out our shiny. Yup, you saw that right. It was a shiny Glameow that we just stared at as it ran away. I don't know if deep down I knew what I was doing there and let it run to keep my eyes on the prize, or if I'm just a big dummy. Either way, I felt kinda defeated by this, so I decided to progress the story a little bit and headed over to talk to the guy who's friends with the big fish. So it turns out this big fish likes one specific kind of food. The only way to make that food is with the help of the super spooky Pokemon, Dusclops. So we went over and caught a Dusclops, then cooked up some food for the fish. Finally, with our fish food, we go to meet the big fish and become friends. As we're making friends with the fish, the bandits from earlier come back and steal one of the Cliff Lady's dogs. We're not gonna have any of that, so we get hot on their trail. Before we can resolve that though, we have to go back and get this dang shiny Growlithe. I honestly think I got pretty lucky with this one because it was just a few dozen trips to the cliff later when this happened. Dude. Yes. Oh my God, yeah. That is about time. It is about time. Holy crap, dude. Oh my goodness. This is by far my favorite Hisuian variant, and I am so happy to have it in shiny form. After spending some time getting to know this pup, we end up nicknaming it Cola. Then we hop on the back of our big fish and head to the volcano island, catching and battling various other, granted smaller fish in the process. Once we finally arrive at the island, we actually manage to find a Firestone from one of the Magmars, I think, which we can use to evolve Cola into an Arcanine. But before we get to that, I do really quickly want to say that if you're enjoying the video, please take a second to scroll down and subscribe to the channel and throw the video a like. Doesn't cost you anything and it helps me out a bunch. I would really appreciate it. Thanks. Anyway, I absolutely love the design of Hisuian Arcanine, and I think it looks even better in yellow. With our new shiny dog, we head in to rescue the other dogs. Here we have a quick battle with the bandits, which is a perfect time to show off Cola in action. The first bandit brings out an Abomasnow, which I have literally no idea what she's thinking bringing this thing to a volcano of all places, but it easily goes down to a single 4 times effective Fire Fang. The next bandit has a Toxicroak, which is a bad matchup for our Rockfire dog, so we end up swapping to Dirty Berry to clean it up with a 4 times effective Confusion. Finally, we go up against the last bandit and her Rhydon Gengar combo. The Rhydon goes down easily enough to Shadow Balls, then Gengar comes in and takes out Berry with a Hex, so we bring in Clumpus to finish the job with a Stone Axe. With the bandits defeated, a whole bunch of stuff goes down, but long story short, it turns out that the little unassuming Growlithe was actually the big strong one all along, and it evolves into an Arcanine and goes into a Frenzy. This looks like a job for some bombs. Eat this. Ugh. Turns out that was exactly what it needed to calm down, and with the Arcanine subdued, we head back to Jubilife. And from here, we meet back up with the commander. And guess what? Another big Pokemon is really upset. So this time, we have to travel to the Coronet Highlands, where this guy who thinks he's a train or something guides us through a nice slow walk through this cave, then we have a quick battle with him. We easily dispatch his team, and our big victory here earns us the respect of the Great Sneasler, who can climb walls and apparently we can ride on. How in the world is this gonna... Oh, it has a nice little basket for us to ride in. Cute. With Sneasler on the squad, we start working on our next team member. This time, we're targeting Hisuian Voltorb. After finishing its Pokedex entry and looking around for a while, we head back to town to get some supplies. As we're headed out, we see that there's a mass outbreak of Voltorbs in the Coronet Highlands. And as it turns out, mass outbreaks have insanely boosted shiny odds. So we make our way up to the top of the Highlands and start catching as many Voltorbs as we can. As we're running away from some aggressive Mon, we see it out of the corner of our eye. The glorious sparkle effect in this sweet little black ball. Just like the good boy he is, he gets in the very first ball we throw at him, and we immediately go grab him out of the stable, only to realize that we don't have a leaf stone to evolve this thing yet. So we start making our rounds around the Crimson Mireland to dig up one or find one somehow. As we're doing this, we really get to know this Voltorb and pick out a nickname that we think fits its personality. Zorb. After a while spent searching, we finally find a leaf stone, which we use to evolve Zorb into an Electrode. Now it's time to head back to the Highlands to deal with the frenzied noble Electrode. Oh, God. It's hideous. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. How about a taste of this? Now, with the big ball dealt with, we head back to town, where we rescue Silene from this horrifying Wurmple, then head to the 5th and final area of the game, the Alabaster Icelands. Here, we meet up with one of our friends, and oh my God, look at those abs. Anyway, they tell us there's another frenzied Pokemon on the loose, but to get to it, we need the help of this Braviary. So we chase the bird and its little girl keeper to the top of a mountain, then into a temple, and finally we have a battle with the bird's keeper. 3v1, this doesn't seem very fair now, does it? Nothing our shiny boys can't handle, and we easily dispatch her. After that, the Braviary wants a piece, so we smack it with a rock slide, which earns us its respect, and we can now fly. And all this flying got me in the mood for a new shiny, so we set our sights on our next target, Rufflet. These are pretty common in the Icelands, so completing the dex entry is a breeze. Then we just start making laps around this lake here until we heard that sweet, sweet ring. And with a single ball, we secured our second to last team member. We double back to grab it from the stable and nickname it Randy Savage, then level it up until it evolves into a Hisuian Braviary. This bird is so awesome with the black feathers on its head and different color forehead flame things. Ah, man, I love this shiny. All right, everyone out. After staring at how sick our squad is, we head over to deal with the final noble Pokemon, Avalugg. Despite this thing being huge, it's not super threatening, and we just do the thing where we throw a bunch of stuff at the big mad Pokemon until it calms down, and just like that, we have officially calmed all 5 frenzied noble Pokemon. We head back to town victorious, and we all live happily ever... This must be your fault. You're exiled. Oh, wow. Wow, that escalated quickly. All I've done to this point is put my life on the line for these people. Jeez. Anyway, we get exiled, but thankfully this random merchant and this lady in a black dress are here to help us. I'll stay away from spoilers here as much as possible, but we do a bunch of stuff to prepare for a final battle against something big. Okay, maybe just one spoiler. Potato Mochi Guy was an evil ninja this whole time, is nothing Sacred Game Freak. What? He's also a badass trainer with a bunch of super strong Pokemon. Nowhere near as badass as me, but we still have a tough fight. But ultimately, our team just shines too bright, and we take him out. With Potato Mochi Guy out of our way, we have a final showdown with the commander and his team. Of course, nothing we can't handle. Then there's a bunch of boss battle stuff, and just like that, we're in the post game. I decided to save my last Pokemon for the post game because apparently mass outbreak outbreaks are more common once you've beaten the main storyline. And like I said before, mass outbreaks have boosted shiny odds. And this is really important because for our last Pokemon, I have my sights set on something very special. I wanted to get a Hisuian Zoroark, but there's only one spot on the map where Zorora spawns in the entire game. And after Growlithe, I just didn't have the patience to do that straight up. And it turns out I didn't have the patience to even look for the mass outbreak, so we decided to go for a different Pokemon altogether. Instead of Zoroark, we decided to hunt Hisuian Basculin to ultimately get a Basculegion. So we got to work on the Pokédex entry, which involved making tons of laps around the Icelands, catching and fighting dozens of fish along the way, and with the Dex entry complete, we started our rounds. Since this is our last Pokemon, it's only right that it takes longer than it should, right? And it did. Or maybe it just felt like it took forever, who knows. Anyway, after a while, we finally heard that sweet, sweet ring and saw those shiny stars. Then we sniped this thing from deep with a wing ball, filling out the 6th and final slot on the team. We grab it from the stable, then after one look, we know exactly what we need to call this fish. Brazil nuts. Now we've got to evolve this thing, which is a pretty cool process. Basically, your Basculin needs to take 300 recoil damage without feigning. Then it'll be able to evolve. This is pretty funny when you consider that it goes from being a pure water type as Basculin to a water ghost type as Basculegion after taking a bunch of recoil damage. Huh. I guess that's not really that funny. Whatever. We ram this thing into a bunch of wild Pokemon until it's ready to evolve, then we trigger the evolution, and it is everything we wanted it to be. Our Basculin is a male, so we even get the funny mustache version of Basculegion, which looks even better with the purple color of the shiny model. Now, we just have one last thing to do to test out the full strength of our team. Rematch the commander. We lead with Brazil Nuts against his Golem, who withstands a wave crash but goes down to another one on the next turn. Unfortunately, his Snorlax comes in and takes out the Nuts shortly thereafter, so we send in Clumpus. A close combat isn't quite enough to take it out, but the commander makes a quick swap to his Clefairy. So we smack it with Stone Axe, then get taken out by an agile Draining Kiss followed by a Water Pulse. At this point, we bring in Dirty Berry to finish it with a Shadow Ball, then the commander brings Snorlax back in and we use Shadow Ball on it because we're dumb. Not to worry though, we clean it up with an extra sensory on the next turn. Then he sends in his ugly pleb Braviary and takes out Barry with an Air Slash. The smart thing to do here would be to send in Zorb, but instead we bring in Cola, who murks this thing with a strong style Rock Slide. Finally, he's down to his last Pokemon Heracross. Wanting to gloat a little bit, we make a swap to Randy Savage to finish this guy with a 4 times effective Air Slash. Get dunked on, Commander. To cap this thing off, let's take one last look at the completed squad. Let me know down in the comments if you want me to take on the post game with this team or have some other challenge that you think would be fun. Oh, and subscribe if you liked the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time.